Hi there, Geoff Graham, Addax Business Solutions, talking to you today about analysis and reporting in MYOB Greentree. Let's have a look at how in MYOB Greentree we can address your informational and reporting requirements. Given we have various different sources of information in our business, right from the data level, including our Greentree database, possibly external Excel spreadsheets, that information then needs to be interpreted and ultimately will become information. So once it becomes information, we can report that information through various different data sources, including Excel as a reporting engine, through the standard Greentree reports, or even through the workflow desktops in Greentree. Given that we now have that data interpreted, categorized and ready for reporting, we can now overlay that with information such as census data, statistical data, geomapping data, to give us information on top of the information we've captured in the Greentree ERP for the purposes of reporting through our business intelligence tools such as ClickSense, ClickView, or even Power BI. So let's go and have a look in the various different tools as to what that reporting might look like. I'm just going to flick out now into Greentree, and here we have a Greentree desktop. As we can see here, as soon as I choose information in Greentree, it presents information in my panels. So I'm just going to choose this job here, which displays information about that particular job in one panel in terms of the job detail view. It also shows me the estimated lines for that particular job also. It also shows me some information in terms of invoices. It categorizes and summarizes that based on totaling for the purpose of presenting to me on screen. Given that we also within Greentree have the ability to run standard reports, if I go to my reports menu, supply balances, I can categorize that even more so using our tree structures, in this case a supplier type tree. I can then go preview, which opens up our standard reports, which functional allows us to drill down. Having clicked on a drill down takes me down to the source level of detail from the report. Closing that again now. If I want to do reporting such as cash flow reporting, I can go to cash management, I can go to historical cash flow, I can go to cash management, I can go to future cash flow. And simply by entering date information for a particular time period, I can then start looking at that information through our standard reports. Inwards cash, outwards cash, and the relevant details over time. So as functional as our standard reports are, sometimes you need that information presented in a slightly more graphical fashion. So let's now jump to Excel. Here we are here in Excel. We've logged into our reporting engine by simply logging in via the Greentree add-in for Excel. Here we are on the selection criteria tab. I can change the dates to bring through information directly from the Greentree database without any other intervention. It is a direct live link. If I want to look at something like a profit and loss, as we can see here we have month to date, year to date, the values, and the values actually are looking at Greentree database directly, which means that I can drill down directly to my source data simply by right clicking and drill down. If I want to look at the source transactions rather than the summarized budget values or account values, I can look at all transactions, and there they are. Going back now to Excel, as you can see we've got actual versus budget in our variance amount in a month to date, so too in the year to date, actual versus budget and a variance. If we did have a forecast value, that would appear here, but for this particular case we don't have a forecast value. So let's look at a slightly different version of our P&L. Here we are here, similar type of structure as our previous report, but we have month upon month upon month. No budget values, but just purely actual values in this case. So quite a different look, but all directly from Greentree in a real-time fashion. Let's look at our balance sheet. Again, we have last year to date actuals, this year to date actuals, categorized by our reporting categories. We could drill down if we chose to, as we have our direct drill down as we saw just before. And because it's a direct live link into Greentree, it also means that we can run our charts by whatever way, shape or form we want to look at our information, in this case a analysis of our expenses. Given that it's all coming directly out of Greentree through our direct live link, it also means all of our ratios can be pulled out in real time to give us our, in this case, our trending information. So for gross profitability, we're 2% up from the current period. We are minus 5% down on return on investment. On some of our liquidity ratios, we have some up and down movement, and so on and so forth. But these are directly looking at the Greentree database, pulling it into Excel for reporting purposes, making ease of use very, very quick and easy, no copy or paste, straight out of the database. Given that we can then take that information and we can overlay that with census data and or geomapping data, we can then start interpreting that information through one of our business intelligence tools. So let's now look at ClickView in this case. Let's look at our job cost model, and here we are here in ClickView, linked directly into our Greentree database, allowing us to look at any time period we choose. We can filter by customer, we can filter by status, and simply by choosing status we'll change the look of the information that it presents. So I'm just going to clear that now. Here we have our top 15 customers view. If I hover over it, it gives us detail. Down below we have our job summary view, which gives us a job P&L, revenue, costs, profit, WIP, write-offs. Some gauges just to give us a nice graphical view. If I navigate to the revenue versus expenses by month, it gives me a picture of how we are travelling revenue versus expense by month. How are we doing on that same basis on a cumulative fashion? And again, a slightly different view. The detail is all there, but it means that the information is presented in a graphical fashion for the purposes of analysis. Okay, what happens if we want to look at our information not from a job point of view, but rather from a financial point of view? So let's open up a financials model. Here we have again, our jobs, some high-level job information. We have some job billing information, some actual versus budget information. We have some debtors aging information in terms of how are we on our debtors at 30, 60, 90 days and in total. Nice graphical way of seeing that information, and again, if we want to look at the detail, we can click on that. It will restrict that just to that current year. If I want to look at my sales information and twist and bend that information into the format that I want to see it in, we can see here, we can see my invoice by customer by division. We can see my top 10 customer view. We can see my invoices by job type. We can look at our top 10 profit centers and sorted in sales-based order. So lots of different ways you can see the information. Very, very graphical, very easy to navigate, very easy to twist and bend that data to your own desire. Let's have a look at a balance sheet in ClickView. Here we are, assets, current assets, cash on hand, other current assets, and so on and so forth. How about a P&L with budget? Here we are here, income, cost of sales, our budget information, our variance, and a monthly view of that information, and also a year to date. What about an annual view? So let's just zoom in a bit on that. As we can see, we've got our year to date and month by month by month performance based on our P&L and our P&L structure. Let's now move on to a slightly different view, again in Click View, but using a slightly different model. And this is more from a safety perspective, so not a financial perspective, not a job perspective, but one of those factors very important to all businesses nowadays is the safety of our employees, our contractors, and ultimately the public at large. So let's look at here we are here. Again, a safety view, looking at things such as the last MTIs, in terms of how many inductions have we done in the month, how many project year to date since we last had an incident, some visual representations of the types of incidents that we're incurring, how severe were the incidents that we did have, when did they happen. So a nice summary view, taking all the information out of the Greentree ERP, presenting it in a graphical fashion. Let's now look at injuries and illnesses. So breaking down my injuries, where were the injuries incurred? What part of the body? What was the nature of those injuries? And again, in a more graphical fashion, for the purposes of review. Obviously safety, very important to all of us nowadays, showing us our minor injuries, our medical treatment injuries, our lost time injuries, our restricted duties injuries, and all injury types. Very graphical, very functional, but showing us all on one simple page. As we can see, our model is far more expansive than what I've shown you today, but just wanted to give you a flavour of some of the ways that we can view information from a reporting and analytical perspective in MYOB Greentree and its supporting reporting tools, both internal and external. Thanks very much for your time, I appreciate it. If you have any questions, sales@addaxsolutions.com or go to our website and contact us soon. Thanks again.